Welcome, everybody, back to AuburnVersus.com. Mike Szvetitz, sports editor of the Opelika-Auburn News. We're here with Collin Mickle, Auburn University beat writer. Collin, today is a little bit different than it was yesterday. With Nick Saban, obviously, the rock star, came through the Winfrey Hotel lobby with 100 and 150 people wanting to just catch a glimpse of him. What were your impressions of Saban? I mean, obviously, we saw him 2 years ago when he was with LSU, and it was a little bit different, obviously, as he said. What were some of your impressions today of Nick Saban?
Well, I was able to catch a glimpse of him, so I'm happy there. That's a win. But no, I mean, he seems very different as the Alabama coach. I think he's had so much media attention. Not that LSU is a backwater job, but he's been very much under the spotlight, and he seemed to have sort of a routine. He had a message that he wanted to get out there, and he really stuck to his plan and kind of hit the high points of what he wanted to say.
Did you think that he was sometimes grilled with questions, or maybe that they were trying to ask him the hard question, maybe to get him to say something more than what you said, like his agenda that he came out with?
I thought, yeah, I mean, certainly he got some questions that were more hostile sounding, and frankly, that's a situation where you reap what you sow. I mean, if you, as a coach or as a public figure, approach your dealings with the media antagonistically, as Nick, I'm sorry, that's how you do it, you're going to get hostile questions back. And when you have as interesting a job history as Nick Saban does, and when you have the Miami Dolphins thing in your past, you're going to get questions about it.
And what stuck out to you the most? The fact that he's the first $4 million coach, and that he doesn't really want to talk about salary, or the fact that he doesn't want to talk about how he disciplines his players, or what were you? I mean, what did he want to talk about today?
What he wanted to talk about was Alabama football, but he didn't really get much of a chance to do that.
Right.
I mean, again, like any coach, he lives, breathes, and eats football. He doesn't want to hear about. He didn't want to talk about his players getting arrested. He didn't want to talk about his former job. He didn't want to talk about the job before that at LSU. And unfortunately, that's really all that we wanted to talk about. So it made for kind of an awkward conversation.
I was down here this morning when all the fans started to gather just before 7 o'clock, and it was almost like, it was a growing buzz of what's going to happen next. Almost like, I kind of liken it to, like, if there's going to be a fight after school, and everybody's like, be there, like, show us what happens. And that's kind of what happened today. Saban came in, he had a throng of SEC officials and Alabama SID folks and a bodyguard. Even he had a personal bodyguard with him. It was more of like Elvis was coming in, or the president, more than it was a football coach. But in Alabama, especially Birmingham area, where Alabama football is king, did you expect anything different? I mean, was it as insane as everybody thought it was going to be?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, all we needed was a lion tamer, and we would have had a full 3-ring circus. It was exactly what it's supposed to be. It was a more enthusiastic welcome, I think, than Mike Shula ever got, but that's not a surprise. They're paying this guy $4 million a year.
And media days, like, we've seen everything. We've even seen dogs running. By the way, it was Nick Saban's dog 2 years ago or 3 years ago when his dog got loose in the hotel. So media days is a circus. I mean, it's been called a circus by everybody. What we seem to overshadow, though, is the fact that the defending national champions, head coach Urban Meyer, was up today. Everybody seemed to gloss over that fact, but here's a team from the SEC, won the national championship, which everybody in the conference was pulling for Florida to win that, to validate this conference if it needs that. Just listening to Urban Meyer and things that he wanted to talk, obviously a lot different from he was 2 years ago, where he's more robotic and more kind of just straight to the point. He actually showed a little personality today.
Relatively speaking, absolutely. I mean, Urban Meyer is never going to be confused for James Brown. I mean, he's not the godfather of soul. But, yeah, I mean, he showed a little personality, told a couple jokes. And, I'm sure that Urban Meyer is very happy that Saban was the story today, and he didn't have to deal with the kind of hoopla that would, in any other year surround an SEC coach who was coaching the defending national champions.
Mississippi State Sylvester Croom went today, and is he in danger of losing his job after this year? Is he on the hot seat?
He doesn't seem to think so, which is, he's sort of the anti-Rich Brooks. Rich Brooks has thought he's going to get fired for the last 3 years. And, Sylvester says that Larry Templeton, their athletic director, and their chancellor, whose name I honestly don't know, say that his job is secure. They understand that he inherited a very difficult situation. But, my gosh, I mean, at some point, rebuilding is about building. And right now, they may have a foundation, but, my gosh, it's taken a long time to lay it.
Hard to recruit in Mississippi, and the next Mississippi school that's going to go tomorrow is Ole Miss. Ed Orgeron, there's another coach. Is he going to be on the hot seat after his third year?
Well, I mean, I don't buy really that it's hard to recruit to Mississippi. It may be hard to recruit to Starkville, one of my favorite towns in the SEC. But, Ed Orgeron has been in the top 10 of all the national rankings every year that he's been at Ole Miss. I don't think that getting kids to come to Mississippi is an impossible hurdle. Sylvester has not been able to do it. But, again, Coach O, despite all the talent that he's put into the program, he's on a little bit of a warm seat. He's obviously got 1 year fewer in the job than Sylvester does, so I think he's got a little bit more leeway. But yeah, it'd be nice if they improved. It'd be nice if they could put away teams like Memphis instead of struggling to beat them every year that Edo's been there.
What's the story tomorrow? We got Georgia, LSU, Tennessee, and Ole Miss going tomorrow. What's the big story coming out of tomorrow? I would think it would probably be, Philip Fulmer's, could this be their year with Eric Ainge at the quarterback? If he's going to win, it's got to be now. And obviously with LSU, Les Miles, it's kind of put up or shut up time for Les Miles. Getting with Nick Saban's recruits now, he's starting to bring in his own and actually starting to play with his own. What's the story tomorrow, Media Day?
To me, it's LSU. I mean, Les Miles is the most underappreciated good coach in the league. And, he's brought in a lot of talent just by the recruiting rankings. They have a lot of skill, talent on that team. They have a lot of very good players left still from when Saban was there. I think Les Miles is the story because I think LSU might be the biggest story in the whole league. I think they're the class of the league right now, even if Florida does have a trophy sitting in its athletics department.
All right, guys. Well, that's it from day 2 of Media Days here at the Winfrey Hotel and Hoover. Check back on AuburnVersus.com for more highlights, interviews with coaches and players from the day. And also tomorrow we'll be back. We'll see you later. Thanks.